Title: Navigating the Labyrinth: Strategies for Dealing with Incompetent and Toxic Managers. Author: written by Mahbub Zaman Ashrafi. This is a Mind the People production. The modern workplace can be a complex ecosystem. It is a place of collaboration, innovation, and ambition. But unfortunately, it can also become a breeding ground for dysfunction when leadership falters. While many managers strive to guide, mentor, and empower their teams, others fall short. They may exhibit a lack of essential skills, which is incompetence. Or they may show behaviors that actively harm their subordinates, which is toxicity. Dealing with such managers is not merely an inconvenience, it is a significant challenge. It can profoundly impact your morale, your productivity, your mental health, and your entire career trajectory. The ripple effects extend beyond the individual. They can poison team dynamics, hinder organizational goals, and create an environment where trust erodes and talent eventually flees. Recognizing the signs of poor management and developing effective coping strategies are crucial skills. This guide will help you navigate your career successfully and maintain your well-being. It requires a clear understanding of problematic management, a strategic approach to your interactions, and a commitment to self-preservation. Chapter 1. Incompetence versus toxicity, knowing the difference. It is important to distinguish between managerial incompetence and outright toxicity. The best strategies for each may differ, although the two often overlap. So, what is incompetence? It typically stems from a lack of skill, experience, or training. An incompetent manager might struggle with making decisions. They might provide unclear direction, mismanage resources, or communicate poorly. They may fail to give you adequate support or opportunities for development. While this is frustrating, their actions are not usually driven by malice. Toxicity, on the other hand, involves harmful behaviors. These are often rooted in personality issues, deep insecurity, or a desire for control. A toxic manager might engage in bullying, manipulation, or gaslighting. They might humiliate people in public, steal credit for work, or discriminate. They actively create a climate of fear. Their actions are often intentional and cause direct psychological harm. Understanding which one you are dealing with is the first critical step in formulating an effective response. Chapter 2. Managing Up: A Guide to Dealing with Incompetence. When faced with an incompetent manager, your primary goal is mitigation. You want to minimize the negative impact of their shortcomings on your work and career. This requires a proactive approach, often called managing up. One fundamental strategy is to always seek clarity. Incompetent managers often provide vague instructions, so it is your responsibility to get the specifics. Ask clarifying questions. It is best to do this in writing, like an email, to create a record. Rephrase their instructions back to them to confirm you have understood. You could say, "So, to confirm, you need the report finalized by Friday at the end of the day, focusing specifically on the third quarter sales data, correct?" This ensures you are on the right track. It also subtly guides the manager towards clearer communication. Another crucial tactic is to become exceptionally self-sufficient and proactive. Anticipate needs. Identify potential problems before they escalate. Propose solutions rather than just presenting issues. If your manager struggles with planning, you could draft a project timeline. If they communicate poorly, you could volunteer to take meeting minutes. This is not about doing their job for them. It is about protecting the quality of your own work. Finally, build strong relationships with competent peers and mentors in your organization. These networks can provide alternative guidance and support. They can help you bypass bottlenecks created by your manager's incompetence. Chapter 3. Shielding Yourself: How to Survive a Toxic Manager. Dealing with a toxic manager is a more complex and damaging challenge. Toxicity actively undermines your well-being. It requires robust strategies for self-protection. The most important principle is meticulous documentation. Toxic managers often rely on gaslighting and manipulation. Keeping a detailed, dated log of incidents is absolutely critical. Note down specific behaviors, direct quotes, dates, times, and any witnesses. Save all relevant emails and messages. This documentation validates your experience and provides concrete evidence if you need to escalate the issue to human resources. Setting firm boundaries is another non-negotiable strategy. Toxic individuals push limits to exert control. You must define what is unacceptable and communicate these boundaries clearly and professionally. This might involve refusing to engage in gossip or declining unreasonable requests outside of work hours. For example, if a manager is yelling, you might say, "I am happy to discuss this, but we must communicate respectfully. Let's talk about this again when we can both speak calmly." Consistency is key. Emotional detachment is also crucial for self-preservation. Recognize that the toxic behavior is about the manager's issues, not your worth. Try not to internalize their negativity. Techniques like mindfulness and focusing on your life outside of work can help build emotional resilience. Leverage your support systems. Confide in trusted colleagues. If the behavior violates company policy, report it to HR with your documentation. At the same time, seek external support from mentors, therapists, or legal counsel. Finally, and most importantly, recognize when the situation is no longer sustainable. Knowing when to plan your exit is not failure. It is a courageous act of self-preservation. Chapter 4. The Long Game, Well-Being, and Strategic Exits. Navigating these relationships is rarely a short-term fix. It requires playing the long game. You must prioritize your personal well-being above all else. The strategies we've discussed consume significant mental and emotional energy. It is crucial to assess the toll the situation is taking on you. Investing in self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Maintain healthy habits outside of work, like exercise, sleep, and good nutrition. Pursue hobbies that bring you joy. Nurture personal relationships that provide support. You must also recognize that not every situation can be saved. There comes a point where the toxicity or frustration outweighs any benefit of staying. If your strategies fail, or if the negative impact on your health becomes overwhelming, a strategic exit plan is the most empowering course of action. This does not mean quitting impulsively. It means proactively seeking new opportunities that offer a healthier environment. Leaving a damaging situation is not a defeat. It is a strategic move towards a more rewarding career path. Summary. Key takeaways. Let's briefly summarize the key strategies. First, distinguish the type. Recognize the difference between incompetence and toxicity to tailor your approach. Second, manage incompetence. Focus on seeking clarity, being proactive, building networks, and aligning with organizational goals. Third, survive toxicity. Prioritize meticulous documentation. Set firm boundaries, practice emotional detachment, and leverage support systems. Fourth, prioritize your well-being. Actively engage in self-care to manage the mental and emotional toll. And fifth, know when to leave. Recognize when a situation is untenable and proactively plan a strategic exit. Your long-term health and career must always be your priority.